I'm not going to do my regular intro because I'll disturb your neighbors.
Okay.
But welcome, everyone, on my channel now. We just recorded a video for Katie's channel. By the way, this is Katie Morton. I just realized I haven't introduced you.
Yes, hello.
So tell the people a little bit about yourself, because I only know so much as well.
Yeah, okay. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, which is like just a fancy way of saying I'm a therapist. You come and talk to me, and I'm like, how's that make you feel? And that kind of stuff. And I have a mental health education-based channel on YouTube.
Yeah. So she does fantastic stuff, a lot of great advice. I've actually watched a lot of your videos to figure out what the hell is going on with me. And recently, everybody knows, I took the break, the week long away from everything, and I said I was burnt out and I had no spark left in me and I had to find stuff for myself. So YouTube put us in touch because she had just done a video about burnout. So we thought it'd be fun. And I talk a lot about like mental health and how to take care of yourself. And I give people advice all the time, and people who watch my videos and what they're going through, and I give advice based on my own experiences and what I would like to be able to do as well. Like, a lot of it I don't actually do myself either.
I'm not any better. Like, just because I'm a therapist doesn't mean I like have all my shit together.
Yeah, and I kept telling people like, it's okay to seek out therapy and you're not weak for looking for therapy and you don't need to be broken to do therapy. It's just a really good tool to have. And I had never been doing it until recently. I went to see a therapist for the first time. So I'm trying, I'm working through it, but all the advice I give is it's like anecdotal advice. So
which is super helpful.
And I thought it'd be cool if we had a licensed person, a person who actually knows what they're talking about, to give us some advice on stuff. I don't really know where to start off because there's a lot of stuff that I want to ask about. Specifically, we're going to talk about like burnout and YouTubers themselves. Because after my video, everybody came to me and saying they were feeling the same thing, and
I'm sure
everybody's going through the same thing, and everyone's feeling burnt out at the same time. And I don't know if it's because more people are talking about it, so more people are opening up about it, or if it's systemic of the platform.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Do you have any thoughts on why it is how it is now?
I think that being a YouTuber myself, I guess I can kind of see both sides. So as well as a clinician. Because burnout occurs, so what we're talking about, this term burnout that everybody uses, really just means that the reward that we get and the effort we put in need to be somewhat balanced.
Yeah.
But being online and having, like we were talking before we started filming, like, if you used to get like 1 million views for every video and then you only get 800,000, which still is amazing numbers, but you see the discrepancy. We feel the difference. And our financial reward can change as well because of that. And so as a YouTuber, you're still putting in the same amount of effort, which is a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And then the reward is like this. And so if it like hangs a little bit lower than our effort for, I don't know, a month, 2 months, a year, who knows, we can start to feel really burnt out. Because we're fine putting in a shit ton of effort as long as our reward is high. Yeah. So that's just kind of what it is. And I think the reason that it's different on YouTube and that it's like systemic of YouTube as a whole, as well as like people are now talking about it, so more people are talking, you know? Yeah. It's a little bit of both, because just like anything, people might have not had a word to put to it. And then they're like, that's why I've been feeling so terrible. Yeah. Now I know what to call it. Yeah. Yay. So people have that. And then I think that YouTube as a whole tends to reward content that's coming out all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm that treadmill's just running. I'm like, can't keep up with that pace.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned a treadmill, because that's how I keep telling people about it, because this is how I felt about it, and I keep giving advice to people ever since, because they're feeling the same thing. Yeah. Is that it's like a really fast treadmill that's always going, and whether you're on it or not, that's just going to keep working. And for a long time, I felt like I was at the back of that treadmill, and my upload schedule was the only thing keeping me on it. That consistency was keeping my legs going. And then I was afraid that if I missed an upload, or if I let people down or anything like that, that I would just fall off, and it's so much harder to get back on. Yeah. Whereas then I took a week off, I took a break. It's like the treadmill slowed down. Everything just slowed way down. Numbers drop, money drops, views drop, everything drops. That's fine. Yeah. It's perfectly healthy. It's allowed to happen. And then it gave me that chance to like get back to the front of the treadmill, and I feel like I'm going at my own pace now, and I'm not going at YouTube's rhythm anymore. And I'm in a very lucky position that the channel's so big that it kind of self-sustains at this point.
Totally. But you've worked hard to get there too. Yeah. Like, you're in a lucky position, but that's come with a lot of work.
It's come with a lot of work and stress and no social life or anything like that. So it's anybody watching, it's okay to take a break. Yeah, you're fine.
Totally. And I think something that I always try to remind myself of, and I'm just saying this so we have like record that I said it out loud, is like normal people, normal jobs, they have vacation. They have holiday time.
Yeah.
We don't get that. And we feel guilty taking it versus a normal person who works in like, I don't know, at the post office. They're like taking all the vacation. They get 2-3 weeks a year. We don't get that.
Yeah.
So like you took a week. That was like the bare minimum of vacation time in a year.
But to me, because we were saying it's all relative to each other, that was a huge amount of time. And I'm gone down to 1 video a day, which to me is crazy because it's literally half the work.
Yeah.
Or half the perceived work, half the perceived productivity. But it's made me so much healthier.
Good.
It's made me so much more balanced. I can actually hang out and talk with friends and come and do these types of videos. Because I used to turn down so many opportunities because I didn't have the time to go do them.
Of course, because you got to keep up with your treadmill.
Yeah, and everyone's schedule is different. I mean, I'm talking about like 14 videos a week, but you do 2 a week. And it's all, however much you can do. I always say be as consistent as you can be.
Yeah.
YouTube likes consistency, but to be as consistent as you can be, like if that's once a month, once a week, that's your consistent rhythm.
Yeah,
and
totally.
That's what's important, because then you can bulk and ebb and flow as much as you want. As long as that schedule is there, I think you can work through it a lot easier and manage your time a whole lot more. Since a lot of people come to me, a lot of people ask me for advice and stuff, and I can give my own advice, but are there any like professional pieces of advice you can give people on how to not so essentially like cure themselves, but to help prevent it and work through it?
Yeah, there's quite a few things we can do, and we kind of know them, to be honest. Like these aren't like, there's no magic wand where I can like fix things. I wish. If you find one, let me know. but there are a lot of things that we can do, because therapy for me helps give me a place where I can talk about things without judgment.
Yeah.
Like they only know what I tell them. They only know the story that I'm stringing together. And I know that can sound like really false, but it gives me a place to be like, this is shitty and I feel bad about this and I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And it's no one's being like, well, last year you said the same thing. No one's like, jabbing me. She's just like, let's fix this. And so I think therapy is a great way to help yourself. And then finding ways to diversify income, so that we're not only reliant on YouTube AdSense, because that does peak and wane depending on, like, you take a week off. Like if you don't have videos going up, your views are going to go down, AdSense goes down. And then getting help, like having a manager, an assistant, or an editor.
Absolutely.
Those are all really, really helpful things. And everybody's going to be different. Everybody has a different level of like ability to manage. Like it sounds like you're like functioning at this level. I'm hanging here just like, in first gear. But knowing what your limits are and feeling it, like if you're feeling really burnt and you're feeling frustrated, one of the ways I know if I'm feeling burnt out is I'm like angry at my job.
Oh yeah.
Which is not me. Like I love it. I feel super fortunate. But if I'm just like irritable and I'm like, God, I don't want to film and like, why do I have to do this? Then I know that it's like something's wrong.
Yeah, and that's why I keep telling like my YouTube friends to take a break when they're feeling that way, because you do it because you love it.
Yeah.
Clearly, you wouldn't work this hard and get burnt out if you didn't love it, because it's a huge passion of mine to do it. But after a while, if you start disliking it day to day, then you start building up this resentment that you don't know is there.
Totally.
And you never ever want to resent the thing that you love, because then it's so much harder to get back into it, because you'll always have that mentality that there's like a bad side to it, I think. Yeah,
no, I totally agree. It's this, we love it, so if I'm angry at it, why?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make sense. And that's always like, for me, it's a clue to be like, you should probably like take some time for yourself. And that's why I've been going on walks and stuff. So that's something that people can do, is just incorporate something that fills you up, makes you feel good. That could be talking to friends, spending time with friends. That could be going for a walk. It could be sitting in silence.
Yeah.
Like I know that sounds weird, but I'm much more of an introvert. So like silence is golden. And so anything to make you feel better. I think overall spending more time doing that 100% will help.
Yeah, and I think the point about therapy is good, because everyone tends to think that therapy is for broken, sad people who are going through like the bad part now. But I've always said that therapy is just good to go to in general, because like you want to take care of your body, you go to the gym, you eat healthy. But if you want to take care of your brain, no one's doing anything for it.
Totally, and going to a therapist is like having a trainer. Like, hey, I really would like to feel stronger in my legs. I need you to do exercises with that.
Yeah.
And why would that be any different from going to a therapist? Because you're like working out your brain.
Yeah.
You're like, help me feel better. I don't like this. I need to be stronger in this way.
Yeah, and it's also just giving you tools to help you cope with stuff that might end up building up eventually. Like,
why wait till you're, on fire to like start doing preemptive measures to like put it out?
you don't need to be burned out to actually go to therapy. And this is like advice for everybody. This is not just for people who are doing YouTube. It's just very like we both of us do YouTube, so it's obviously within our wheelhouse. But any of you out there who are doing anything you love, because I see a lot of artists, a lot of like writers, a lot of people who are like taking photos and film and everything, and they're all getting burnt out on it because they feel like it's going nowhere.
Yeah.
And I've always said to like compare yourself to yourself instead of to everybody else.
Yes. One of my favorite quotes is comparison is a thief of joy, because you're not going to be like anybody else. You aren't them. It's a great thing. I'm not like anybody else. I'm me. And so I think you should only compare yourself to yourself. Like how am I doing today versus yesterday?
Yeah.
Or last week? And that's about as far as I would go, like timeline wise.
Okay.
Don't do like years, because then you're just like, oh my God. But you can just keep it within like a week or so.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, today's a better day than yesterday.
Yeah.
Up and up.
And if you look back from yourself from like 3 years ago and you cringe at it, that just means you've grown as a person.
Yeah. It should be cringy. You'd be like, I shed the skin of that person. I don't even know that person anymore. I'm a whole different person now.
Katie.
Yes.
Lay it on us. Let's get scientific with all of this, because we can give the hokey pokey cliche sounding advice all we want. They sound cliche, but it's solid actual advice. Yes. And I think that's a hurdle a lot of people have to get over. The cynicism builds in. It's like taking a break, whatever, go for a walk.
Yeah.
It works. But there's very scientific reasons for all of this stuff to do, and this is why you're here, because you're qualified, you're able to talk about this stuff.
Yeah, and I find this stuff so fascinating. The brain is really fascinating in general because it's regenerative. So if anything happens or you don't like the way you're feeling, it can get better.
Yeah.
But the reason that burnout occurs, so the amygdala, which is like kind of in the center of our brain, and it's a teeny, almost like a bean-shaped little bit of your brain, and it's your fire alarm. So like when you're a kid and you're throwing a tantrum, your amygdala is like, wow, wow, it's like, we hate everything, this is terrible, ah! And so it's the fight, flight, or freeze response, and it comes from your amygdala. And so it sends a signal. And burnout, when our reward starts to go down and we start to get frustrated, like those symptoms we were talking about, like, oh, I'm just so annoyed, I don't want to do this. That's our amygdala like sparking up, and we're essentially getting really angry and very frustrated, and we don't know why, so it sends this alarm. Because when we don't have a reason to be upset that we can tangibly be like, it thinks it's like fight or flight or freeze. It like sends us into our emergency response. Yeah. And so when the amygdala is firing all the time to keep us going when we're on that treadmill and we're just like barely sustaining, it's sounding the alarm so often that all of those synapses and all of the roads, the pathways out of the amygdala to the other parts of the brain that keep us going, keep us like moving, doing the thing we need to, and also make us feel really frustrated and angry maybe. It's on those pathways all the time, and it's essentially like when you drive on a road but you never repave it, because synapses need time and parts of our brain need time to regenerate, because they regenerate. But if they're not given that break, then it's like on a rough road, it like can't get the message out, and we just start having these bizarre symptoms. We can feel really fatigued easily, we can feel achy, we can be really irritable to friends and family, we can like have trouble recalling information that should be super simple, like it's in our wheelhouse, it's something we've known forever. We can be like, shit, what's that guy's name? Like it just drives you crazy because your brain is burnt. Essentially it can't send any more signals, and you have to like take a break. And so I always think that's really fascinating, something to remember, that like those little times we're saying, like take a break, go for a walk, spend time with friends, is essentially like repaving the roads in your brain so that it can keep doing what it needs to do, because you're burning it out.
So it may sound hokey pokey, but there's real evidence to back up that it works. And that's the thing like about meditation and stuff, because I've been trying to get into that a lot.
Yeah, me too, it's hard.
Yeah, and like a year and a half ago, I was very much like, meditation is for like Buddhas and monks and for
hippies.
It's for like a movie scene more than it is to actually help. But the more I've gone on tour with all these people who are on the road all the time and they're in work mode constantly, but they seem to just have such a grasp on it. They seem to just be really good at it. Stuff flies off the handle all the time, and they deal with it, and they come about very positively about it and just fix the problems. I was like, well, how the hell do they do this? And they all do yoga, meditation, transcendental meditation, different things like that, just taking 20 minutes for themselves and breathing in and out and focusing on your breath and just basically allowing your brain to like slow down and shut off for a little moment.
And it like cleans out all the gunk, essentially, like any of those little road bits. I love analogies, if you can't tell, but like those little broken off pieces of asphalt, it's like, okay, time to clean the road, and then you feel better, and then you're actually able to think more clearly.
So it's hard to do, and it's something that you have to train yourself to do, I think, and your mind wanders very often, but it's good to like allow it to wander, but be aware that it wanders and bring yourself back to center and everything. And
Yeah.
It's worked for me, at least.
It is really helpful. It's hard, but it's like a muscle that you need to build up, and it gets easier.
Yeah, and I think the more you do it, like if you do it at the start of the day or middle of the day, it kind of just lets you get through the rest of the day a lot less anxious.
Yeah, I was just listening to Amy Schumer and Oprah. Oprah interviewed her. And Amy Schumer's a comedian anyway, and she's been on tour forever, and she does transcendental meditation twice a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, and she said it's like changed her life.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I'm able to go on tour for like 3 months longer than I used to. I'm able to stay more present. I think I'm actually funnier. Yeah. And I was like, wow, I got to get into this.
Yeah, so I think for me, the reason it works so well is because feeling like that schedule has to keep going. And if you are in a position, if you're in a stressful job that does keep you going all the time, sometimes you don't have the time to like take a vacation or go walk outside or anything, but just taking 10, 15, 20 minutes a day to just go to a quiet place and close your eyes and let yourself breathe.
Yeah, totally.
Like, it helps you just get through the next phase.
Exactly.
Okay, so to sum up, we've talked a lot about like workplace burnout and stresses and strains. So if you could go through like the signs, what to look out for, what it is, and how to just to sum it up so we have it all in a nice, neat little package.
Yeah, I think if you're like avoiding work, things you used to get excited about, you're not excited about anymore. If you've been feeling extra tired, if you're irritable or like snappy with either people in your life, but if you're not even interacting with people, if you find online you're just like agitated easily, that's those are signs of it. And I think just overall not feeling like yourself. That's for me. Like I don't feel like myself. I get tearful easily. Anything that just feels a little bit off, that's a reason to start working on finding a way to make you feel more like yourself. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I started to feel. So I love what I do. I'm very energetic and like out there. But then as soon as that started to change, I was like, okay, something's wrong. What do we fix? So yeah, it's good to be aware of it. Yeah, and notice what it's like for you. I always tell everybody like track how you're feeling. It's not that everybody has to keep a journal, but you can keep just a bullet point of like, hey, today was good. I ate pretty well. I slept pretty well. I saw some friends. I'm feeling good, so that you can see when things kind of go off the rails. Yeah. You can track back more easily and put some, tools in place. Yeah. So take care of yourselves. Take some time. But thank you so much. Yeah. Thanks for having me. For talking to us about it. We're going to do another video where we talk about just in general mentalities and everything, not just specific to work and how you go through that. So look forward to that. But thank you so much. You can find Katie on her own channel and on her social medias. I will be linking in the description. She does fantastic videos. They're like life hacks, and they'll help you through a lot of stuff. And it's nice to have a qualified professional talk about this stuff and help us all. But thanks for watching, and see you next time.